What's up everybody, it's Shan McMullen and today's tutorial is going to be on the basic Pro Tools edit modes. This tutorial will be helpful for anybody who's newer to Pro Tools and isn't sure what all of these commands and modes mean or what they do. So let's go ahead and get started. So up here in the top left in this little green window, we have all of our different edit modes, and these basically change how we can not only move our clips but also how our cursor moves. So right now we're in slip, which is here on the bottom left of the four. Slip mode is really useful, especially in recording situations, because you can move around the edit window unrestricted. You can move your cursor to wherever you need to go for punches. If somebody decides that they need to go back to the second verse to punch in real quick, you can just fly your cursor right there and be ready to record. You can move clips wherever you need to go, left and right, up and down to different tracks. I can put it wherever I want, basically. Again, there's no limitations. But sometimes you do want things to be stuck to more of a grid or more of a consistent timing, and that's when grid mode is very useful. So as you can see, when I go from slip to grid, or any mode to grid really, as soon as I put grid on, you can see the grid lines come on. So now my cursor, even when I'm not selecting anything, is automatically jumping to a grid line. And up here you can actually select the increment that your grid's in, so you can go smaller if you need to. I personally like to keep it just on one bar when I'm not using it, just because for some reason all of the tiny little lines, like, they drive me crazy just looking at them. But that's just a personal preference. So one thing to keep in mind about grid mode is that your grid lines are set according to your tempo. So you have to make sure your tempo is correct, otherwise your grid lines will be off. The next edit mode we're going to get into is spot mode, and that's the one that I definitely use the least out of the four. For the type of work that I do, it doesn't really have too many advantages, but it definitely has its place. When I'm in spot mode and whenever I click an audio clip, the spot dialog window comes up. And what this dialog window is asking me to do is tell it where I want this audio clip to start. So it's automatically going to give me the start point of where the audio clip is. And here you can select it and change it to like minutes and seconds, bars, beats, time code, feet and frames, and samples. So you probably want it in bars and beats or minutes and seconds. With this window up, I can designate a start time, a sync point time, and an end point time. Just arbitrarily, I'll just put one here and one there as well. So if I hit OK, keep in mind our clip that's selected down here, which will be affected by this window. Now that clip has moved according to the parameters that we designated in the spot dialog window. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I really don't have a need for this in my workflow. I've only used it a couple of times, but when you need to be very precise, it's definitely super useful. The last basic edit mode of Pro Tools is shuffle here in the top left corner. The best way to explain shuffle mode to oh shit. The best way to explain shuffle mode is to just show you guys. So I'm gonna select this, press B to cut it, and if I delete it, you'll notice that this half is gonna move automatically to where this cut is. So I take this section that I selected, delete it, and this automatically slid back to where my cut was. So if I take this section and duplicate it, instead of deleting it, it's gonna slide this whole piece over, as opposed to if I was in slip or grid or any other mode and I duplicate it, it replaces that whole piece. Shuffle mode is really useful for beat and song arrangement, but I will say that I don't use it very often. I definitely use it more than spot mode, but not as much as slip and grid mode. So that's it for today's tutorial on the basic Pro Tools edit modes. Thank you everybody for watching. As usual, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at ConductorShan. And I'm looking forward to the next tutorial. Thank you guys.